Hey there, Train here. Let's have a chat about the Black Lives Matter movement and why it's important. So, for the longest time, we in the black community have known that systematic racism exists. Some of us had no idea to what extent it existed, as not each and every one of us have the same experiences, live in the same communities, have the same group of friends, or in the same economic bracket. But one thing is in common: systematic racism affects us all at different degrees and different levels. So I went to a protest, right? And while at the protest, we kept going block after block after block. And honestly, the sun was super hot. And at one point, I'm like, oh my God, when is this gonna end? I was so in my head. And we had like an hour left. And then it occurred to me, here I am, just walking for 2 hours to fight for my rights, fighting for equality and equity in the hot sun. And here I am complaining about the heat. So while complaining about the heat, I thought, I'm like, wow, who am I to complain? Like, this is just one day. Oh God, someone's making noise in the background. So this is just one day, like one day. The people in the Haitian Revolution fought for years. My ancestors fought for years. And they never got tired. Even when they were tired and exhausted, they never give up. And here I am doing the bare minimum and getting exhausted. I do hear other friends complaining like, oh my God, I'm so tired of this. So I pose a question. Do you want to spend the rest of your life oppressed by white supremacy? Or you want to spend a year tackling white supremacy? Because let's be clear, tyranny never sleeps. While you're there working, they are working. And whenever you did whatever you achieved and undid, trust me, in a year, they'll be hard at work putting those back in place, even if slowly or quietly. Because let's remember, it's not just the guy on the street that yells slurs at you. It's a policeman, it's a judge, it's your human resource manager. Those are the people who have the true power, not someone yelling the N-word and telling you to go back to your country. Though they have an impact, the true impact is felt up top. And remember, they always say the fish stinks from the head. So whenever you see a racist incident happening in an organization, always sit and think. Because chances are it's not the first time. I guarantee you. So what have I learned during these protests and these times? So, defunding the police. Initially, when I heard defund the police, because this is something new to me, I initially thought, oh, they're calling to abolish the police. Until I did my own research and learned what actually defunding means. it actually means reallocating funds to communities in need. And Jasmeet Singh, he actually put the numbers out of what the Canadian government actually spends on a daily basis on the police force. Initially, I saw the big number, right? So when you see like $1 billion, it's like a lot of money, but your brain can't really comprehend $1 million. A billion rather. Your brain cannot comprehend those numbers unless you see them broken down into smaller daily numbers. And I was so shocked to learn that the federal government spends $10 million a day on the police force. That's their daily budget. If you go to Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto, and you see the homeless crisis we have, makes you think, like, what can $1 million a day, take away $1 million from the $10 million budget, you have $9 million. You know how far that extra $1 million a day can stretch? These are the conversations we need to have. So I say, as time progresses, try to learn more, educate yourself. Don't just rest on the laurels like, oh, I know about this. Dig deep. Find out everything that there needs to know about your community and itself, and yourself rather. And as you start to think, starts from this one place. The country you live in was built on white supremacy. Start from that angle. And starting from that angle, break it down from education, language, all of it. And look at your community. Look at some of the words you say. So there's this huge thing in the black community, regardless of where you grew up, you will always hear that black people are like crabs in a barrel. But really, think about it. Is that really true? Is that true for you? Is it true for your friends? Is it true for your family? Where this ideology came from? Look at how many structural units there are in the community. I mean, for good or bad, the black church, it rallies around itself. The black nation of Islam rallies around itself. The black Jewish community, the black hip-hop community, they all help each other. Even in your neighborhood, how many times have someone come out and help you, or you help someone? So where did that thought came from? These are the things we need to tackle within ourselves. And when we repeat certain things out of our mouth, like, oh, black men are this, black men are that, always remember, whenever you utter such negative things, you're referring to your father, your brother, your uncle, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your grandmother, your aunt. It has a ripple effect. Your future daughter, your future son. Always think, where did I learn that from? And is it true? That's important. So the best you can do for yourself in this time is to learn and know yourself. Because once you begin to understand yourself and understand your importance, a difference will be made. Because you will start acting differently. You will start treating yourself differently, your friends differently, your elders differently, and you will begin to know your purpose. And remember, your purpose is not just your career. It's bigger than that. Or your job. We all have a duty to our communities. And no matter how much money you make, if you're not helping the community, forget about it. I don't want to ramble on. I'm not reading from a script. I'm just here speaking. Maybe a bit random. Just out here enjoying the summer. But remember, as I wrap up, the fight continues. White supremacy does not sleep. It is always working overtime. Think about it. Play your part. No justice, no peace. And remember, it's not just no peace for the oppressors, but if you don't have justice, equality, and equity, there'll be no peace for you. So until next time, I'm Terrain, and hit that subscribe button. I'll be dropping some vlogs in the future. Thank you for watching, and just leave a comment if anything you'd want to just randomly talk about one day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
The way you plant domesticated Brazil trees.